You know, it's a huge honor to be back here because I kind of feel like this is where my Spider-Man journey sort of kick-started, you know, and it feels like only yesterday that I was here announcing the title, and now it's amazing to be here debuting the trailer, and it's just, I'm so proud of this movie and everyone that was involved. I'm so proud for them, for what they've achieved, and I'm just excited for people to see a little bit more of what we've done. You know, this is a very different take on Spider-Man. This is something we haven't seen before. I'm obviously a lot younger, so we can really play on the youthful side of the character. We've seen the soldier, we've seen the billionaire, we've seen the god, and now it's time to see the kid, you know? And I think it's fun to see what would happen if you gave a 15-year-old superpowers, and I think what would happen is he'd have a pretty great time. I think that one of the main reasons why people love Peter Parker and Spider-Man so much is that you can relate to him, you know? There's not a person on this planet who doesn't go through something that Peter Parker goes through, whether it's struggling with homework, talking to girls, being late for school, or having bigger responsibilities outside of school. And I think, especially for young kids, it's a great thing to be able to see a superhero go through the same things that you're going through day to day. You know, it's very reassuring that it doesn't just happen to you, it also happens to superheroes. I mean, it's nuts, dude. It still doesn't feel real to me now. You know, everyone keeps asking me what it's like working with Robert, and it was one of the most surreal experiences of my whole career. Even watching the trailers now, I can't quite comprehend that that's actually me. But the fact that this has actually come true and that this was such a big dream of mine is crazy, and I can't quite believe I'm standing here today. Well, I think that's what John and Marvel and Sony did so well, was create a very unique character in a sense that he's just an average guy, you know? John said the other day, if a regular kid can become a superhero, why can't a regular guy become a supervillain? And you have the scientist, the billionaire, aliens, monsters, gods, all sorts of villains, but now we just have, you know, a guy who wants to stand up for himself and doesn't really agree with what's happening in society. And I think it's very interesting to see a movie of such a big scale on such a grounded level. Yeah, dude, it's mind-blowing, man. It's really something that I'm still getting used to, and it hasn't sunk in yet, and I think it would be wrong if it had sunk in, you know? To be here today, I know I've said it, is such an honor, and I'm so delighted, and obviously realize how lucky I am to be here. But the cast, we couldn't have asked for a better cast. I mean, John did such a great job with casting all the kids and all the big cheeses that we've got at the top. I mean, I couldn't have been luckier, so I'm very happy. You know, Michael Keaton is an actor who I've always looked up to, and he is someone who has such an incredible career and platform behind him, and it was definitely intimidating working with someone like him, but so refreshing because he's just such a nice guy. You know, Michael's someone who you can approach and sit down on set with and have a good chat with, and also he has so much great advice to give.
It's really exciting. I mean, I feel guilty because we're still finishing up the movie, and I still have a lot of work to do, but it's really exciting to be here, and I can't wait to show the trailer on just a massive screen.
Nice.
As a fan myself, I always wanted to make a movie that showed what the MCU would look like from a ground-level perspective, and now I get to do that through Peter Parker's eyes. So there's going to be so many things for fans to be looking out for throughout. I can especially relate to Peter right now because in the movie he's been given this amazing opportunity by Tony Stark, and he's just trying really hard to prove himself so that he can become an Avenger and not screw up, and that's exactly how I feel at every moment making this movie. So I think there's this universal idea behind Peter Parker just being a regular kid that you can always relate to. Tom's great because he's so he creates this sort of natural empathy where you just feel for him and you can see what he's going through in his face, and he just has this very relatable quality, and also he can just do a backflip. So like, he is Spider-Man to me.
When Kevin Feige and I saw John Watts' movie, we knew that he was the guy to direct this movie. And we saw a quality in him that has panned out so brilliantly that I think everybody's going to see when they see this movie, because it's very different than our other Spider-Man films, and it is completely unique. And so much of that is due to the vision that he came in with. He's a really formidable filmmaker, and we were very lucky that he wanted to do the film. one of the things that I think is so amazing about this experience is that you don't have studios deciding to work together to make a film very often. In fact, it may never happen again after we do the sequel. Because Sony and Disney and Marvel all decided that the right thing to do was to allow Peter Parker and Spider-Man to be in the MCU and to work with the Marvel guys and have them produce this film. And I think that was a very rare thing for three companies to do, and a very brilliant thing for them to decide to do, because there are only so many stories that you can tell again and again and again about Spidey, and this is something that we would have never been able to do in any other way. So it was a very selfless thing that was very smart on the part of all the companies.
Well, I mean, there's nothing more exciting than having Spider-Man join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got a taste of that last year in Captain America: Civil War. I think in many ways he stole the movie, and now we get to see his first standalone feature in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's something that we geek out about very hard. When Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created Spider-Man over 50 years ago, what was so brilliant about it, what was so unique about it, was here we had this universe full of heroes. And suddenly they added to it this kid who had to be home, had a curfew, had to do his homework, had to take care of his aunt. He wasn't living on another planet or living in an ivory tower. He was just a kid, like most of us are or were. And he had relatable issues. He had these unbelievable powers. He had great responsibility. But he had everyday issues. And all of the great Marvel characters have flaws, have quirks, have something that makes them relatable. None have something as relatable as Peter Parker does. Well, we were excited. The Vulture, I think, is the second villain Spidey ever faced in the comics, never been in a film before. And what was exciting to us about it is we had this whole idea of what would it be like to actually live in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've made 15 movies now set within this same shared continuity of universe, and now that we've introduced Spider-Man to it, we can introduce some of his villains. And what is it like to grow up in that world? What is it like to be in a world where you can look over your head and Iron Man flies by, or aliens pour out of the city and the Avengers come and attack them? It would be scary, it would be exciting. Certainly for Peter, he got to spend some time with the Avengers. We saw him in Civil War, had a pretty amazing summer vacation. Now he has to go back to high school after hanging out with these rock stars. What's that like? That's his journey. The journey is different for Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. He is just a normal guy. He's a regular guy. He lives in this world, and suddenly all these unbelievable things are happening, and he starts to feel small. So he starts to gather and scavenge all of this amazing technology that is left behind after these superhero battles, and he builds this unbelievable wingsuit, and he starts a business of his own. And it's fun to see somebody that didn't just have, some sort of medical accident that led to superpowers. We get to see him literally with his own two hands build his future and build his destiny, which is very much what he believes in. And Michael Keaton joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe is also one of those, it was on the bucket list. He's an amazing persona, he's an amazing actor, and getting to see him sort of look and scowl at these heroes that he thinks are somewhat ridiculous, at these names that they're calling themselves, and he decides if you can't beat them, join them, and he becomes this villain on his own. So at every turn in this movie, you see new aspects of Spider-Man that have never been in a film before, but have been in the comics for years. He's got mechanical web shooters, as we saw in Civil War. He has to have web fluid. If he runs out, he falls off a building. So you get some added tension there. You get his scientific smarts as he tries to figure out ways out of that scenario. It's the first full Spider-Man film that takes place in high school. And he's got other high school friends. And for the very first time, somebody learns a secret. And he's got a best friend he's not sure he can keep his mouth shut. But his friend Ned has learned his secret early on in the film, and suddenly you have an entirely new dynamic for Spider-Man, as he needs to not only navigate the homework, helping his aunt, doing what he thinks he needs to do to impress Tony Stark. He thinks he should be an Avenger, and now his best friend Ned knows his secret. And is Ned going to be able to keep a lid on it, or is Ned going to be an ally? Is he going to help him?
It's very exciting. It's always cool to get your movie in front of the people who are going to be showing it. I mean, that's the exciting part of it, is they're getting kind of sneak peeks at what's coming out. I mean, it's if you like movies, it's kind of the coolest place to be.
People reacted to the movie exactly as I hoped. like applause during the sort of the action sequences and some big laughs, but also, you know, it becomes very tense in places of the movie, and that was like really thrilling to watch it with an audience on the edge of its seat. It won an audience award in its category, which is pretty good because it only showed once, so that's pretty cool, because other films show like 2 or 3 times. So yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a fantastic response.
Ansel does a lot of the heavy lifting in the film, and in many ways the movie's success is based on, you know, him, and it's the fact that it's been this well received is a great credit to his work in it.
When I first was cast in the movie and Edgar told me what his dream cast was, I was sort of like, that would be great. I can never imagine that actually happening, but it did. And we had Jamie Foxx and Kevin Spacey and John Hamm and John Bernthal and everybody in the film. I couldn't believe that all of a sudden I was going to be able to work opposite all those guys.
It was exciting, you know, when you work with people, it's like anything. If you play golf with people who are better than you or play tennis with people who are better than you, you're going to be better. You just don't want to be the one who stinks. And that's that works in acting too. You definitely raise your game. And part of it was that we had a really good guy running the show here that everybody knew was incredibly talented and had a real vision for this project. And what you see on the screen is the result of that.
I know, it was amazing. And the cast is amazing. I mean, it was something which, like Ansel said, I felt the same way, is that we went out to these people, and it's that amazing feeling when, you know, all your top choices start saying yes, and suddenly you got an amazing ensemble. And it's very flattering. Even before we'd started filming, it was their response to the script that I'd written. And so I couldn't ask for a better cast. It's like, and right through to all the supporting actors as well. There's amazing people in supporting parts as well, so it's fantastic. It started a long time ago when I had this song that's the opening song of the movie, Bell Bottoms by the John Spencer Blues Explosion. I heard this song and I started visualizing a car chase. And then over the years I started to think what that film was, and it became about the idea of this young getaway driver who can't really operate without the right song playing. And then it just expanded into the finished screenplay over the years. So it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. And, you know, I'm just thrilled that it's something that is coming out this summer and is no longer in here anymore. It's designed to be seen large and loud. I'm still a big believer in going out to the movies. I still like the big screen experience. And, you know, this movie, particularly with the action and the sound, like, it's to be seen on a big screen.
And with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Seeing it with an audience at South by Southwest, I realized how great the film really was. It's like a communal experience. You feel the energy of everyone else in the audience.
We got some bits prepared for our little on-stage moment, and I think we're going to make this audience laugh in ways they've never laughed before. Jack?
I do know what to expect. I've been here before, back when it used to be called Show West.
Oh.
So I know my way around the joint. It's exciting. You know, there's like, I think everybody in the industry of movie theater business, is that true? Am I right? Yeah, that's what it's all about. The exhibitors. Right? That's what they're called, the exhibitors?
I believe so.
So this is our chance to wow them and go, man, we got to put that the front and center at our Cineplexes. And I'm pretty stoked because we come armed with like a powerful sizzle reel. Is that what you call it, sizzle reel?
I think so.
I mean, yeah, it's like a trailer.
I wanted to see the movie when I saw it. It's like, damn.
It was a good time. We were in Hawaii for a couple months and then some time in Atlanta. You know, just obviously this cast is incredible. And you got Dwayne and Kevin. A lot of laughs on set, LOLs for days. And, you know, it's just great to be in the room with someone like Dwayne who's so excellent at what he does in this action-adventure world.
Yeah.
And just learned a lot from that whole experience. It's great.
My character is actually a character within a character. I'm the most popular 16-year-old girl in the high school that she's from. Prettiest, coolest. And then when she is sucked into the game of Jumanji, she turns into me, and she is not pleased about the current situation.
I think there's so much to enjoy about this movie, but I think the thing that I was drawn to was the message, the action, the comedy, and this amazing cast, obviously. Sony's amazing. You know, starting from the top with Tom and just working your way through everybody. It's been amazing to work with them, and I think they absolutely have all the tools needed to make this movie a success, and I'm honored to work with them.
We are at Cinemacon, and we're unveiling the first ever sneak-a-peek-a-loo of Jumanji 2017. Christmas. Throwdown. Delicious. Excitement. Hilarity. Adventure. Badassery.
So I'm here at CinemaCon for the new Jumanji movie, and we're all very excited to show the trailer to everyone for the first time. Mind-blowing, amazing, brilliant. So many. I can't condense it to one. I'm sorry, because it's too good and you have to see it.
You know, Sony, look, they've been great partners, and the man who you just saw, Tom Rothman, has been tremendous partners, who has had the vision for this thing for so many years. And, you know, we're very fortunate to come along and partner with these guys. And I've known Sony all of my career, and, you know, we're very fortunate that we made a good movie, and I think the world is going to like it.